Hello YouTubers, welcome to finding the prime numbers between 1 and a million using assembler. The version of assembler I'll be using today is a version that I've been working on for quite a long time. I don't want to tell how long, it's quite embarrassing. This will be kind of new. There'll be some new things here and there'll be some old things. I hope you enjoy the video. First I want to show you the, I'm going to jump to the end, which is to show you the final product, and then we'll go back and step through the code a little bit and talk about it a little bit. I'm not going to trace it line for line. And then the last part of the video I'm going to show you how and where to download this to your own computer so you can run it yourself. And maybe even make modifications to it. So click on group, click on import from internet, v012, open. Now what happened here is it's got a couple files in memory. It's got a VBP in memory that the compiler uses. It has the assembler, that's the code that's written, that's in memory. This is a read-only project and it won't actually save it to disk, but it'll be able to run and compile it all from memory. Over here is on the C program data McCoy bin folder is a runtime.dll. That was downloaded as well, just right now. It should be there. I'm going to go to the data folder. There's more stuff in there too. So you right click here and do create exe. Boom, it's done. It just, right next to that runtime file is an exe file. Now you do run exe, and here's the program, and you can tell this popped up really fast. It says time to create the primes 1 millisecond. It is literally in that blink of an eye, it's done. It filled up its memory and tagged every one of the numbers in memory that it feels is a prime number. Now when I press enter, now comes the slow part. It's going to print it out. The reason well, let's put it this way. 2 weeks ago, this compiler could not print out numbers in decimal form because everything was binary. So I needed to write a BCD converter, and I did that, and it's probably not a very good BCD converter. Maybe it's slower than it should be, I don't know. Or maybe it's just slow printing, I don't know. But it takes a good 9 or 10 seconds to print all these out. Here's the end. 999,983 is the last prime number out of a million that it's found. And I'm going to press enter and the program ends. So there's the end. The end product is the running program. It's very small. It's only 4 KB. Smallest exe I think you probably ever see. See, the runtime is 17 KB, so it doesn't really have a lot in it as well. Just want to step through a few things and point out. If you're probably looking through this, you're probably noticing that this kind of looks like assembler and it kind of looks like basic. That's because my ultimate goal is to make a basic compiler that can have assembler modules. And this is what the assembler modules will look like. And the basic will convert into this version of assembler, and then from this version of assembler will convert down to machine code. So that if I have the assembler looking kind of like basic, it's going to help with the conversion. There's some of these will be straight through conversions. So okay, let's look at like this println here versus readln. I got runtime .readln. Yeah, I got println up here. Both are runtime functions. Yeah, one is explicitly naming runtime .readln. Well, since all my runtime functions have been declared global, the compiler will find them. It just takes a little longer for it to look, but it will find them. I'm going to show you the IntelliSense here, which isn't perfect, but it's a work in progress. If I type a namespace, runtime, dot, it gives you the options of it gives you some few options here which are odd. It has static data, instance data, code, and base of instance. What I'm going to choose here is the code. And then I'm going to hit dot again. And now I'm going to have access to all the functions. And by the way, a lot of these functions are empty. They're just nothing there. So if I type println, in parentheses, oops, you notice it pops up 2 println functions. That's because I have 2 println functions. Now this is function overloading. It depends on what your arguments are. It will depend on which function gets ran. So if you give it a string, it's going to run the first one. If you give it a number, it's going to run the second one. Then it's going to do a conversion to decimal. So that, there's that. I'm going to delete all this back out here. And I'm going to skip through this a little bit. I don't want to get caught on it too much. Down here is the create primes function. One thing I do want to point out here is that I got current outer as a variable, and its type is register x8. That's not a type anyone's used to seeing. Well, it's really a register, and what's going to do is the compiler is going to pick a register and assign it to that variable name, and whenever that variable is used, it's going to just change it to the register. Sounds simple, but it's kind of a new concept that I've been playing with here. I kind of like it, so I don't have to think about register names. I can think about variable names. There are chances of getting things screwed up, as you well know. So there are some pitfalls, but for this project, it seemed to work pretty good. The local and dim and var they all mean the same thing. Doesn't matter. You could say type space variable name space type. As is optional. So there's a lot of different types of syntaxes that are acceptable. You can even preset values with an equal sign. The next thing I want to show you that it may be different from other assembler programs is this. This is a conditional jump here, and normally you have to have a label after the end of it. This is what I call a labelless jump. It does not require labels. So when you use the labelless option, the compiler then has to look at these indentations. It's going to jump over the indented lines. It'll jump to this line 2E here, which is the move. So the indentations matter. Like if you don't indent that, the jump won't jump to the right spot. Does it take 1, 2, 4 spaces, tabs? It doesn't matter. Tabs are converted to spaces anyway. Just as long as it's indented, it'll figure out the jump. Go down a little further here. This right here is a loop in the inner loop that runs to find all the primes. It runs very quickly, as you can tell. It's all registers. Right here is the only spot where it writes to memory. When it finds a number that's not prime, it puts the number 12 in there. 12 doesn't mean anything. It's just non-zero. I don't know why I chose 12. MP is a register. Current enter is a register. It does have a conditional jump here with a label, so the labels do work if you want. And then there's the label down there. I guess the indentation concept doesn't work all the time because sometimes you're in the middle of a loop and you need to get out. And so labels are not gone. This JG here, here's what's interesting. This will jump upwards, and it won't land there. It'll land on the next line after there. Just FYI. So the jumps can go forwards or backwards. And that's kind of it. So that's the first. That was the second phase of this video. The third phase is going to be for me to show you where to download it and how to download it, and that's what I'm going to do right now. Go here. Oops, I better go back. Here's BradMcCoy1969.com. That's me. This is my website. Very plain. Sorry. Click on .basic compiler. That's my old name. I need to change that. Click on the downloads. Here, this setup McCoy compiler version 012. Click on that. It downloads. It's not very big at all. Doesn't take very long. Click open. You're going to get security warnings. I'm going to go ahead and run it. I wrote every single line of code of what's in here. I can guarantee you there's no malicious code, and I've got my name on it to prove it. Accept the agreement. Go next. Install. I get this warning because I have it opened already. I'm going to click cancel here. You go ahead and keep going. After you go through the wizard, you should have the project open, and then on your first opening of the project, it's gonna want to download a few things from the website to put in the data folder. That'll even pop up a message telling you it's going to download. It's kind of a one-time only download, so and it only takes 5 seconds too, so that's not very much. And that is it. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. I encourage positive comments, and that's it.